Blocking the sun, really? Is that going to help climate change? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Biden administration trying to block the sun to help climate change. Now, I'm not making this up. This is not a conspiracy theory. I do not have on a tinfoil hat right now. I'm wearing a regular ball cap. I'm not making things up. We have articles, we got videos, we got a little bit of everything. But before we go into that, first things first, climate change, in my opinion, is a big scam. It is a big scam, in my opinion. Now, could I be wrong? Of course. It's my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. It is a scam. I don't think human beings can truly alter the climate like we say we can. And if we can, then those talk about weather modification and HAARP and whatnot, they can't be tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists. You understand? You can't say on one hand, those that say that we're altering the weather, we're causing the so-called Canadian smoke to come down and choke out East Coast cities for the first time ever. You can't say those who say that we are manipulating the weather are tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists, while at the same time trying to literally block the sun to cool the Earth's temperature. Now, before I get into it, let's go ahead and roll a news clip. If you want to see this clip in full, link as always will be in the description box. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
As the Biden administration signals its fight against global warming may actually involve blocking sunlight. The White House posting research claiming, quote, solar radiation modification would enable better informed decisions about the potential risk and benefits of SRM as a component of climate policy, alongside the foundational elements of greenhouse gas emissions mitigation.
Let's pause for a minute. Okay, I can understand you want to have some of the carbon emitting, quote unquote, dirty factories. You don't want to have them here. You want to offshore jobs to China and have that same carbon emission go up in the same atmosphere that everybody on Earth shares. I can kind of understand that. You don't want to have the pollution in your backyard. Does that make sense? No, but it kind of does a little bit. You just bring the pollution somewhere else. But this right here, blocking the actual sun.
Our next guest warns this is simply government's way to control your weather. Mark Morano, publisher of ClimateDepot.com, and he joins us now. Okay, Mark, you know, my take this morning was maybe this is one of those or else, you know, get on board with everything else or we're going to block the sun. But I guess it's a little bit more, reality than that. Tell us about it.
Well, this is actually Bill Gates funding this as well through Harvard University. This is retro 1970s. In the 1970s, they believed that our fossil fuels were creating aerosols, blocking the sun, creating man-made global cooling. So they came up with the same kind of geoengineering solutions back then. They wanted to put black soot on the Arctic to melt it. There was one proposal to use nuclear energy to help loosen the Arctic ice caps because they...
Okay, let's pause for a minute. So what he's saying right now is back in the 70s when the whole thing was global cooling, because remember, first it was global cooling, then it became global warming, then it became simply climate change. So if the earth is getting too cold, climate change. If the earth is getting too hot, climate change. And we got to figure out something to combat it. Okay, we're forgetting about this whole big thing in the sky we call the sun that we cannot control or predict. Okay. And just the earth itself, we're very arrogant to think that we can just control the weather like that. Okay. But back then they were trying to use nukes. Like imagine they would nuke an ice cap to loosen it up. Now we're saying that it's too loose and we're trying to freeze it back up. So now we're going to do things that would be equally as dangerous potentially to try and modify the weather. If anything, we'll end up damaging ourselves rather than modifying the weather. Because if we did what they proposed back then, it would have been disastrous. A nuclear warhead on glaciers. Like, what are we talking about? Let's keep on going.
They thought they were growing too much. And John Holdren, back in the Obama administration, also supported this kind of geoengineering, if you will, of the climate. This is radical, risky, unproven, unknown effects, but they're doing it as a sort of lever over us to say now in the Biden administration, kind of like, yeah, we know this is dangerous, we don't know the effects, but darn it, people aren't buying electric cars fast enough, or they're not embracing Green New Deal policies, so we have to risk our entire planet with this insane kind of research. It's basically weather modification. China's been doing it for years. It's another form of what the U.S. government has even been doing. The ABC News meteorologists bragged about the cloud seeding they're doing to increase rain or snow and storms. They will control the government will control the weather, and you will be happy. That seems to be the new motto. Yep.
Okay, now he's saying it right here, talking about cloud seeding, talking about what China's doing, trying to increase rainfall and things like that. When you're doing things to try and alter the way the planet operates, I'm just thinking there may be some unintended consequences behind that. And it's not just like a vax, perhaps, where it's a brand new thing. You're testing it out for the first time. It might work. It might not work. If it doesn't work, maybe you might have 1 million people dead. 2 million. You might have 10 million people dead, right? Maybe if the vax doesn't work. And that's bad enough. That is a catastrophic level tragedy right there. But if you do something to the planet and that doesn't work, you're talking about billions of people who are going to be at risk. Okay. And I think that we're starting to see some of this. I'm seeing some really strange weather. You know, it gets kind of chilly down here close to Georgia where it's normally real hot. I'm seeing this so-called Canadian wildfire smoke back to back. They had it early in June. And then at the end of June, what's really going on? They're talking about, oh, it's from Canada. Yet I'm seeing some of the heat maps and it appears to originate from the lower 48. So what's happening with that? Let's keep on going here.
I was just talking to Will about the cloud seeding. He's not sure if he believes it. And I said, listen, it's something they've been trying to do for a while. But on that same topic, if they don't get to block out the sun, they're going to try other, maybe more practical ways, like electric vehicles, pushing those on us. A poll out shows 59% of us oppose phasing out gas cars by 2035. 21% support Biden's policy on this. What's your take on it?
Well, this is, I don't think we need a poll to show us these numbers. The American people have voted. Less than 7% of cars are electric vehicle sales in America. And that's despite massive subsidies, massive tax credits, mandates of banning gas-powered cars led by California and 18 other states with trigger laws. They have done everything they can to promote electric cars, and they're more expensive. They have less range, and all they do is increase our dependence on China. It takes fossil fuels to make a car. It takes fossil fuels to recharge the electric cars. It makes no sense. And what they're doing is intentionally creating car shortages by these gas-powered car bans to force us into mass transit.
No, that one point there, inviting China into our auto industry and into our electronic industry while they're passing things like the CHIPS Act, a lot of it is kind of speaking out both sides of their mouth. Thank you, Mark Morano, for joining us.
Very well said. Shout out to Mark Morano. And you know what? He made one key point toward the end there about forcing us into mass transit. That's the ultimate goal, in my humble opinion. Be quiet so you can see me clearly. That's the ultimate goal. Okay, you guys don't want to get electric cars. You guys want your gas car. Well, it won't be a gas car. And your electric vehicle is going to be expensive. It's not going to be cheap to own. If that battery goes out and it costs $15,000 US to fix it and to replace it, and you can't afford it, well, oh well, hop on the train. Where are you going? Wherever we say you're going to go. Okay. And if there's an issue in your particular area with all of a sudden you're having a catastrophic flood, you're having tornadoes for some random reason, like why is it all of a sudden that tornado alley is in the South, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi especially? Why is it all of a sudden tornado alley when throughout the history of the U.S., it had been right there in the Plains region, Oklahoma, Kansas, those kind of places, right? Gone with the wind type situation. Why is it all of a sudden shifted? Is that just a coincidence? Is it happenstance? Again, I don't know. I'm just asking questions. But I think what he said there about mass transit, that's going to be the ultimate thing. Hop on the train, go to wherever you say you're going to go. But as I close, I want to say this. The White House are proving a lot of conspiracy theories correct when they, quote unquote, conspiracy theorists, quote unquote, tinfoil hat wearers. How can you label them that when the things they say about the government trying to change the weather, trying to manipulate and alter the weather. You guys are putting out reports, putting out press releases, talking about doing that exact same thing. You cannot say that those people are conspiracy theorists when you verify their information. It doesn't make much sense to me, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what the White House is attempting to do here? They're trying to manipulate the weather. Like, what's going on with that? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is crackpot science at best. It is going to be dangerous. We don't know what the long-term effects are going to be. We're just trying things. Just throw something out there, throw it at the wall, see what sticks. And then if it's catastrophic, if it damages the whole world, then oh well. You know, hey man, we got to push them electric powered vehicles, and we got to push everybody onto a train when they cannot afford an EV, or when they don't want to give up their gas powered car, when they can't go to the gas pump anymore and get gasoline for whatever the reason may be. They're going to hop on the train, and that's just what it is. That is what I see. And I see a bunch of more dangerous things that are coming as a result of this ridiculous climate policy. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.